Hello everybody, welcome to Iceland. Let's sort the exposure out first, shall we? I thought I would do this intro to the video in the car, even though this is clearly not the most interesting place in Iceland, but it's not windy in here and it looks incredibly windy out there, and I'm unsure how the microphone is going to work. So I thought at least if I start with you being able to hear me, then that's better than the entire video you not being able to hear me. The sun's just come out, which is not great for this introduction, but never mind, it's a vlog, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is the first of hopefully a few videos that I'm going to film over the next few days here in Iceland. It's also the first video with my new sponsor. I have a new sponsor now. If you've been watching this channel for a little while, you'll know that I've done a few little sponsorship bits and bobs, always with companies that I use and that I really like. I turn down the vast majority of opportunities I get for sponsorship because, well, they're just not relevant and I don't think you'll find them very useful. But I think we can all agree that this new sponsor is entirely relevant to me because, well, you all know that I love their stuff and I've been using their stuff for a long, long time. Any guesses? One clue. Yes, Lumix. Lumix will be sponsoring this channel, or some videos on this channel, for, yeah, as I say, the foreseeable future, which is great news for me because I love their products. I've been using their Micro Four Thirds cameras on and off for 7 or 8 years, and exclusively for the past 18 months or so. And we've done bits and bobs of work together. I've done a couple of talks for them, things like that, and we've just decided that it would be good to have a more formal partnership. The obvious question: will I be using or upgrading, or whatever you want to call it, to the full frame cameras that they're bringing out? I love Micro Four Thirds, and that doesn't change. So yes, I'll try their new cameras, but I'm not just going to jump ship just because they have a full frame camera. I love this G9 and the lenses that go with it. So it's far from being a foregone conclusion that I'm just going to go to full frame just because they have one, as I say, because yeah, I love the G9. So that answers that question. For now, as I say, I'm in Iceland and well, yeah, it's time to go and explore. Hopefully it's been enjoyable being able to hear me, because I don't think that's a guarantee for the next few hours. Let's go and find out. Absolute jackpot, viewers. I found somewhere out of the wind. I've come into this like little gorge thing, which has taken me quite a while to find, but never mind, because I've found it now. First impressions of Iceland: it's very much like New Zealand, I would say, in that there are Japanese tourists everywhere with the peace sign. It's very windy and it smells of sulphur, presumably because of the volcanic activity, but I like it. Other news: that waterfall is making me need the toilet. Anyway, I'm waffling on. Today what I wanted to talk about a little bit in this video was long exposures and why I don't particularly bother with them. So, in a place like this where there's a massive waterfall, typically what I see with other photographers is they reach into their bag and straight away pick out like a 10-stop ND filter with hope of blurring the water. That's the effect that most photographers seem to go for, and I don't particularly like it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that when I've taken photos before and posted them, people have said, why don't you blur the water? That's what everybody does. And the fact that everybody else does it is partly the reason I don't, but there are a couple of other reasons. The first is that I think when you have a really powerful body of water or anything like this, a waterfall or a stream, whatever it might be, I think part of the photo is about the action of the water, and I think you lose some of that when you blur it. So here are two photos I took just before down at the big waterfall. I spent zero time on the composition because there were tourists everywhere and I was just a bit fed up of trying to look for a nice photo. And as you might be able to tell, one of them was taken with a 10-stop ND filter and one of them wasn't. And I personally prefer the one where you can see the movement of the water. I think it offers more of a story, and I just think it's more interesting to look at. The second reason, and all of these reasons are interlinked, but the second reason is that when you have a long exposure, particularly things like waterfalls, immediately your brain knows that you're looking at a photo. It sounds a bit of a stupid, obvious thing to say, but as soon as you look at that photo, you know that some kind of photo technique has been applied, even if you know nothing about photography. And I think, personally, that creates a bit of distance between the viewer and the photo. Because straight away, intuitively, you know that you're looking at a photograph, you're not looking at a story or the scene kind of in its entirety. I'm talking absolute nonsense, I'm well aware of that. But my objective whenever I take photos is that I don't want people to feel like they're looking at a photo, I want them to feel like they're in the scene. And whether or not I ever succeed at that is completely your call. Like, I can never really say whether I have or haven't achieved that. But yeah, with a long exposure, particularly with something like a waterfall, it's very obvious that you've taken a photo and that the viewer is looking at a photo. And for me, I just don't really like that. So that's why I don't particularly bother with, yeah, long exposures, as I say. Shut up! This car beeps at you when the door is open. I mean, I sort of get it if the door was ajar, because it doesn't want you to drive off with the door slightly open, but when the door is actually open, it's probably because you want the door to be open. Ridiculous. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to go back to the hotel for a bit because, well, it's only 5 minutes away and the light is really, really harsh. It's not a complaint, I didn't expect to see the sunshine at all in Iceland, so it's nice to get the vitamin D, but since I'm staying so close, I think I might as well go and do some editing and stuff, wait for the light to get a bit better, and then hopefully there'll be a good golden hour, or better yet, I'll wait for it to go dark, and hopefully there'll be some northern lights if the clouds stay away. And fingers crossed the wind will have died down by then as well. Otherwise, making videos this week is going to be quite tricky. Expect lots of subtitles, which actually might be good for you, because it means I'll be forced to cut the waffle. Hello viewers, and welcome back. You joined me probably, I'd say at the start of golden hour. I think there's about an hour till sunset, and I've just been walking around again, getting a few snapshots. I've stopped off at this spot. I don't know if you can see the waterfall and then the Highland Mountains in the background. So this is kind of where I want to be when the clouds get good. I had a productive afternoon just doing some editing and stuff, and I'm hoping to stay here until well, until it gets dark, and hopefully there's going to be some northern lights. I don't know why I'm saying hopefully I'm going to stay here. I mean, I don't have a bedtime, I can just stay out, so that's what I'm going to do. Minor problem, my Peak Design capture plate at the bottom thing, that won't come off because I don't have any Allen keys with me. I left it at the hotel, which means I can't put this on a tripod, which means I might struggle with Northern Lights photos, so I'll just have to use the G80 for the Northern Lights photos, which is a bit of a shame, but doesn't make the hugest difference in the world. I don't have any food with me, which it's not a massive problem again, but I am a bit peckish. But never mind, I'm sure I'll survive. I think that concludes my current problems. For the time being, I shall just look forward to sunset and hopefully get a decent shot without a tripod. So yeah, any photos you see from now will be handheld naturally, and as a result the water won't be blurry. But you know I don't like that, so it doesn't matter. Right, here we go. I'm just looking at the aurora forecast, which shows the likelihood of northern lights wherever you are. And even though there are clear skies, it's not looking good. It's a bit of a shame really, because the next few nights are looking like they're going to be really overcast and rainy. So it might mean that I don't see the northern lights in Iceland. Luckily, I've just come from Greenland, so not as fussed as I would have been. Right, I'm going to go back to the hotel I think, given I've not got an Allen key for my capture plate and therefore can't use a tripod, and the forecast for the northern lights doesn't look that great. So I'm going to go and eat. Thank you very much to Lumix for sponsoring this video, the perfect partner for this channel I think. And also thank you very much to you for watching. I will be doing a couple more videos from New Zealand, still thinking about New Zealand, from Iceland this week before I go home, and hopefully I'll have no wind for those either. The wind's died down tonight, which is wonderful. See you later. I've found another problem. It's happened before, but the little slider on my microphone has gone. And it's designed in such a way that you can't really turn it on or off without the piece attached to it. Maybe you need a pin or something. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. Thankfully I have the fix, which is to forget about it until tomorrow and eat these.